Mahomes first because I want to talk about Aaron Donald, who's ranked number 1 on this list, and that's it.
And he should be ranked number 1 because Aaron Donald, even if he didn't stand out in the Super Bowl, his side of the ball played phenomenal football for majority of the game. Even drives where New England were threatening to score, Aaron Donald's side of the ball was able to suppress it. They couldn't suppress it for long, man. And there were a couple of plays that the Rams had that should have been touchdowns, but Jared Goff, man, he didn't play well at all. And I kind of expected that, man. I expected that. People put way too much people give Jared Goff way too much credit. I think that he's mentally fragile. He depends way too much on what's his name? Cooper Kupp. He depends way too much on Cooper Kupp to get his offense going, and that's not good when you're dependent. Because when you lose that player and you don't have him, your offense suffers. So yeah, that was a problem, man. But Aaron Donald, man, he should be number 1. That dude's phenomenal. I mean, I don't put too many people up on the tier of J.J. Watt during this era, but Aaron Donald is clearly on that level.
Joke. Me. Because there is no way going into next year, if you offered every GM in this business, you can have Tom Brady this coming football season or Aaron Donald. Who are you going to take? They'll all take Tom.
No, it depends on who needs what. If you already have a somewhat, a good quarter, like if you're a team like, let's see, I'm gonna try to do like, let's just say the Texans. All right, if you're the Texans and you have Deshaun Watson, and on your defensive line you have J.J. Watt, you have Jadeveon Clowney, you have I forgot the defensive tackle they have on their team, and I give you a choice of either swapping out Deshaun Watson for Tom Brady, or swapping out one of your defensive linemen for Aaron Donald. I mean, you would take Aaron Donald because Deshaun Watson is a really good quarterback. He needs to stay healthy, but he's a really good quarterback. And, to have J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Aaron Donald on the same fucking defense, it'll be hard to pass with that defense. It'll be hard for the offensive line to block everybody. So, I don't know. It depends on who you need, man. And if we're just talking about for one season, it depends on what team you have and who you're going to have around them and who's the coach, man. So there's a lot of factors. This is what I'm saying. They make these dumbass arguments, but it's so many factors in football. This is what makes football so unpredictable, is because there's so many different factors that go into it.
Brady, hands down, no questions asked. In 1 second, they'll all say, "Oh, give me Brady." Next year. No. So just 1 year. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a dumbass. That's a dumbass assertion. It depends on who you need, man. Who are you taking, Skip Bayless, for the fucking Dallas Cowboys? Are you taking Tom Brady or are you taking Aaron Donald? Who are you taking? Are you going to pass up on a chance to make your defense better, or are you going to get a quarterback at 40 years old that, may not even be able to play well right now for your team, man, seeing as how your fucking offense is constructed, and seeing as how Ezekiel Elliott may not even be able to fucking play for assault and security guards. I mean, Jesus, these people.
Aaron Donald, I watched all those playoff games he played, and I just don't even remember him. Against my Cowboys, he had 2 tackles, and he's really good. He's really good. I give you that. But he cannot impact the football game the way number 12 can for New England Patriots. Right. And against the Saints, Aaron Donald was really good. He was pretty disruptive. He had no sacks because he had no sacks in all 3 of his playoff games. Do I remember him?
That's because New England's offensive line was just so well put together, so well organized, and they played so well. And Ndamukong Suh didn't have a sack. I don't know if anybody really had no, you know what? The Patriots had sacks. I remember that. But I don't know if the Rams had sacks, honestly. I believe they did, but I'm not going to jump out on a cliff over that one. But, jump off a cliff on that one. But, you don't need to notice Aaron Donald to know that he had an impact in that game, man. Because you have to, I'm not going to say you have to double team him, but Aaron Donald is somebody that you have to pay attention to. If you don't, he'll kill you.
Against Brady in the Super, I just don't remember it. He just didn't.
Threw him down one time.
Okay, all right. Did he sack him? No, he didn't sack him. He had no sacks in 3 games. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna take that guy over Tom Brady? Tom Brady took over the playoffs last year.
No, he didn't.
Do you remember what he did to your Chargers?
Yeah, he didn't take over the playoffs. And that's the thing about New England. Nobody takes over anything. One game, you have one player that steps up. Another game, probably another player steps up. Another game, then you may see Tom go off. But Tom doesn't just take over whole playoff stretches. That's not how the system works.
You loved the Chargers.
Yes.
You were all over. You were driving their bandwagon. And what happened? Bill Belichick won.
Tom Brady played really well in that game. I mean, I won't say he took it over. He played really well. Sony Michel actually really played really, really well. Sony Michel, if anybody took over last year in the playoffs, it was Sony. Sony Michel. Or, I'm not just going to single out Sony. The Patriots running game and their offensive line, that's who dominated the game. I mean, dominated the playoffs last year. So, I don't know. You're giving way too much credit where it doesn't need to go.
On the toss and said, you know what? Maybe for once, I should give it to the greatest quarterback ever instead of playing defense first. And what happened? 80 yards happened. Bang, touchdown
You
happened.
remember what my homeboy did against Indy?
I don't want to hear about your homeboy because
What the fuck does that have to do? What does that have to do with either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes in their matchup? Just like this argument with the Chiefs doesn't really make any sense because it's not both players against one another. I mean, if you're going to compare Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes, you can only use the games that they played against each other. And even the Super Bowl, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, Jesus.
homeboy.
Why not?
Because he lost twice to Tom Brady. Do you remember the game in
He
Foxborough?
lost, huh?
Yeah. Did he lose?
What did the numbers say? What did the numbers say? That's what you tell me.
Okay, here's the numbers. Tom Brady in the 4th quarter against Patrick Mahomes at New England on a Sunday night went 9 of 12 for 182 yards and outgunned him. At age 41, he outgunned him.
Those are incredible numbers.
It was 43-40 Brady over Mahomes. And then what happened in overtime at Kansas City?
That's
Magic happened.
That's my home.
Overtime in Kansas City was surgical. Now, if we want to talk about him dominating at any point in the playoffs, fine, we could do that. He dominated that overtime. He took advantage of that defense. Eric Berry, I've always had since he left. I believe he played for Texas. Since he left Texas and got drafted, no, Tennessee. Shit, I was thinking about Earl Thomas. Since Eric Berry left Tennessee, I've had high hopes for him because I thought he was a pretty phenomenal safety. And then he had this cancer thing, and not only did he have the cancer thing, he was able to come back and show just an extreme amount of mental toughness and be able to come back and play, and not only play, but play at a high level in the NFL after, being able to get through that down period in his life. And I mean, dude deserves all the respect in the world for that. But I mean, this dude is a phenomenal football player, and Tom Brady was just the rest of the offense was able to take advantage of that defense. That's impressive, man. That's impressive. And they talk about how bad the defense is. Sure, the defense may have been bad that day, but we're talking about a team that led the league in sacks. You're talking about a secondary with Eric Berry, who's one of the top safeties in the NFL. I mean, after that game, I think his image has been utterly destroyed because I believe he's still a free agent. But I don't know.
Fault.
Greatness happened.
That's my home's fault.
3 straight times Tom Brady faced third.
Keep that same energy when the New England Patriots lose and you ready to say, well, Tom should have did this and Tom should have did that and he didn't. Keep that same argument. How was it Tom's fault?
3rd and 10 on the road in the cold at Arrowhead. 3 straight times, 3rd and 10, he goes to Edelman for 20, Edelman for 15, and Gronk for 15. Ball game.
Hold on, Skip.
It's unbelievable how great he is.
You keep saying that Tom Brady did this in the cold.
Yeah.
Hell, it gets cold in Boston. It wasn't like he's in Miami.
But people put so much emphasis on home field advantage. I think him playing well in the cold on the road is far more impressive than him playing in the cold at home. I mean, because people put way too much emphasis on home field advantage, home court advantage. Even sometimes the players put too much emphasis on it, and it sometimes impacts the outcome of games. I really do believe that. You make people believe something long enough, and it becomes just a rule of law just because of the belief in it. And people believe that home field advantage is such a home court advantage is, being at home is so far more advantageous that the person on the road has an uphill battle to climb, and I can see how that mentally would affect a lot of players. So just way too much emphasis on that.
Just saying, you just can't beat that. And then the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, it's 3-all. Neither team can do anything. And all of a sudden, mid-fourth quarter, all of a sudden, 12 gets it back one more time. And he finally figures it out. And he goes for 18 to Gronk, and he goes for 18 to Edelman, goes 7 Burkhead, and then 29 yards to Gronkowski down to the 2. Football game.
Yeah.
Over. He took it over.
Okay, what about that? So what we going to do about that interception? What we going to do about that 26 QBR?
I'm talking about yet another championship.
When Pat Mahomes left the field, was he not ahead against Kansas City?
I don't care. Tom Brady outplayed him.
No, he didn't.
Against Kansas City, look, you so fucking emotional right now. You can't even say the right team that he was playing against.
In the fourth quarter, how about in the overtime?
Skip, he didn't get the ball in overtime, so he should have outplayed it.
This is...
And that's the greatness of Brady, and this is what burns people the fuck up because they hate him so much. Brady has a knack for just finishing teams in overtime. And this is what makes people so fucking mad with Brady, and this is what makes them focus on this cheating shit and all this other stuff, and Joe Montana is better, and Peyton Manning is better, Aaron Rodgers is better, Patrick Mahomes is better, like, because they hate him so much. Because they don't understand, like, for a guy that does not excel at any factor of his job better than anybody else, how come he is so clutch? How is he able to win so much? And they can't understand it. It is like a great fucking mystery. Like the Bermuda Triangle, for real. And it burns these people up, man, because they want to know, like, what makes you so special? All you are is this average quarterback, this white dude who dominates a predominantly dominated black sport, and no one can understand why. And I hate you for that. Because I can't understand why. He's enigmatic. I'm sorry. Sometimes, man, I just have an issue. I mean, he just causes so many fits for these people, man. Because sometimes when when conversations come up about Tom Brady, as soon as somebody says Tom's name, you look at the person that hates him, whoever it is on the panel, and they almost have this exhausted look immediately, like, and then instantly it's in hater mode. And like I said, man, I'm not a fanboy of Brady. I believe Brady has made a lot of mistakes, man. I'm not going to say off the field. I'm just going to say related to football, because you don't really hear too much about Brady off the field. So, on the field, in the locker room, inside the stadium, he makes a lot of mistakes, sure. But, I don't know, man. In a world where it's far more respected to get an advantage, even if it's by suspect means, than you just taking your ass whooping like a man. Like, it's far more respected to orchestrate your own victories. Like, it is. It's people respect that more because they say it takes initiative. But when New England does it, it's just cheating. It's just cheating. That's all it is, man. And I don't know, man. Look, this is why I like being a New England fan, because it's not that I like going against the grain. It's just that as a kid, I could just see the thing that made me become a New England fan was during the Super Bowl when they were playing like during the playoff run, when they were playing all these different teams, and how these teams would talk all this shit. They would just start saying stuff. And me, a kid, knowing football for as long as I knew football, which was only like a year, I'm expecting New England to come back and say some shit about them. No, New England kept it professional. They didn't say anything. They said, we're going to handle our business on the field. And they kept it there. And not only do they handle business, they beat these teams almost in a fucking, almost in a destructive fashion. It's and this was back in 2002, 2003, 2004, during that stretch. Sorry. But that's what makes me respect them, man, because they don't need to talk about this shit, man. They don't need to talk about any of this shit. And sure, they're listening to a lot of the criticisms, man, because a lot of times, man, when you have people who are just so enigmatic, you know, I'm still struggling with saying that shit. When you have players that way, the worst thing you can do, especially when you don't understand what makes them so great. Like, people say this is what makes the Patriots great, but nobody really knows, because if you did know, you'd be able to stop it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's it, man. I mean, I think I ran my course with this topic.